Welcome to Beyond the Campfire, the Dead by Daylight podcast where we dive into the stories, secrets, and strategies behind the horrors and heroes within the fog. My name's Dogbomb, and I am joined by my co-host, Lemon. Hello, Lemon.
Hi, Dogbomb. How are you?
Hello, I'm okay. I'm getting a bit of a cold.
Oh, no.
Yeah, and I'm going away this week. Timing.
That's bad timing.
Bad timing, yeah, bad timing. No streams at all for me this week. I'm away for a whole week. I'm having a week off, which is good, I guess, for relaxing and getting rid of my cold.
Yeah, and experience some new stuff. Where are you going?
Yeah, I'm going to Blackpool Magic Convention. And I'm going to give thousands of people my cold.
Hooray!
Hooray!
Maybe you need to do a COVID test before you go.
Is that a thing anymore? I thought COVID had gone years ago.
I don't know. I have not had it.
You've never had COVID?
No, I have not.
Wow, are you the chosen one? I've had it twice.
Wow. Some people just want more of the hype thing. So, have you been enjoying any 2 versus 8 games?
I have, yeah. We've had some good games with pals. We've not managed to have a full Dwight lobby yet. We had 7 maximum the other day, and it was annoying because we did have 7, and then somebody went to bed, and another person joined. And if only they'd overlapped properly, we would have had the full 8 Dwight lobby, which is always a good time.
We did have 8 once. We had where Kate joined us as the 8th person, but then they disconnected on the loading screen.
They were on Switch, and Switch has issues with connecting to the other systems. But yeah, I played some Killer as well. On stream, I played every single Killer in alphabetical order on 2 versus 8, which was fun.
You have to be the first person to do that in alphabetical
I'm not convinced.
I am.
Although I did discover that you can arrange the killers and survivors in alphabetical order, which I didn't even realize you could do.
Me neither.
Yeah, so that was interesting to see that. And it also means on my survivalist that I can make Ace first. And I don't think that'll ever change because Ace, A-C-E, is quite high in the alphabet.
Mm-hmm.
So I like that.
It's the small pleasures sometimes.
You know. But yeah, my killer games were brilliant. I think I did well with almost every killer. Trying to remember which ones I did bad at. I remember Nurse was pretty bad. That was alongside you.
I do not remember, but I was Billy by mistake.
You were Billy. Yeah. You were Billy.
You might have been Nurse.
I think I was Nurse, and it wasn't my strongest game.
I was amazing. I have never played Billy before. That was my first and only game.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like a bright star in the sky.
You're a Billy main now?
Maybe.
Cool.
Maybe.
So long, Naughty Bear. Bye.
No, always Naughty Bear.
But yeah, they were cool. I really enjoyed those. How was your week?
Well, I also played 2 versus 8.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a few games on my own.
Oh?
And they suck. Like, I had a game yesterday where I played, I think it was Gun Dude and Pyramid Head. And I was like locked in on the gens. Like locked in. I think I did 5 gens, and of those 5 gens, I did 90% on my own. Every time I looked out on the side. Nobody was on gens. They were running around playing with the flashlights.
Mm-hmm.
So I got the last gen done. Then the killers came for me. I had 0 hooks at this time. They caught me, they caged me, and everybody got out and left me behind. I'm so pissed. And like, people,
Wow.
come on. Get the last
Wow.
person.
But did it not make you feel good that you were like the big hero who got them all out?
No, I'm not that big
Wow.
hearted at all. At least one person could have, like, turned around and gotten me.
No.
Oh my God.
We asked a question last week, and that question was, who is the hottest killer in the game? And Drunk David said it is no contest. It's Trickster. What are your thoughts on Trickster, Lemon?
I don't have that many thoughts on Trickster,
Mm-hmm.
but a person with the name Drunk David must be really, really drunk.
I don't mind Trickster. He's cute.
No,
He's got that whole like boy band thing going on, and
he looks
Katy
like
Perry.
somebody who uses, is it called Lynx in the UK?
Yeah,
Yeah, he looks like one of those kids.
yeah. I think that's why Drunk David. Like, I think Drunk David's into links.
Wow.
I don't want to cast aspersions on any of our listeners, but I've said it now.
Mhm.
We've also got some Dead by Daylight news this week. The biggest news this week, I guess, is the Dead by Daylight movie. There has been some news on the wires on the news channels about this, that it is still being worked on. They have some writers involved in the project, someone who was worked on The Conjuring 2, and someone who's written for a movie called Crawl, which is not one that I know, but is one that I will look up at some point. Thoughts on a Dead by Daylight movie? Are you excited to see it?
Do you think it will be with Nicolas Cage?
No, I don't. But I do think it's gearing up for a announcement at the thing this year, at the event that they're holding.
The birthday party?
Yeah, I think they might have like a teaser trailer or something there with some kind of vague date. Next year or the year after, like coming soon.
If there's no Nicolas Cage, I will be disappointed.
Yeah, I don't think Nicolas Cage will be involved in a big way. If he is involved, I think it'll be a really small cameo type thing. I think it'll be pretty low end, unnamed actors in the main, and I think this is all conjecture, by the way. I think it'll be focused around Trapper. I think they tried introducing a new character with the Frank Stone thing. I don't think it was well received, or as well received as I hoped, and I think it's going to be focused on people who are in the game currently.
Maybe.
We'll see. Time
We
will
will
tell.
see.
Time will tell.
But should we bet? You bet for
Shall we?
Trapper, I bet for Nicolas Cage, and then we see who wins.
Okay.
Deal?
Yeah. Deal. If I win the bet, you've got to play a killer game as a nurse.
Okay. If I win, you are going to give me a dinner at the TwitchCon after our bet has been revealed.
Okay. Yeah. I'll get you a dinner. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Fine.
I'll play nurse.
This week, we are talking about the true obsession. It is Laurie Strode.
So, when we talk about Laurie Strode in the first 2 Halloween films, um, We are really talking about someone we experience more than somebody we fully know. Watching Halloween and Halloween 2 back to back, which I have done, Laurie feels less like a fully mapped person and more like a life interrupted mid sentence kind of situation. Before the violence, before the hospital corridors and the screaming and the shadows, Laurie is just an ordinary girl in the most grounded kind of way. She's a babysitter, she's responsible, she studies, um, and this is while her best friends, Annie and Lydia, leans towards like a more rebellion and they want to experiment with boys. Laurie exists in like a more calm space where she's the one doing the homework. She's the one knitting. She's the one agreeing to watch the kids while everybody else chases those boys. But even though she is like the responsible in the friend group, it it doesn't make her dull or boring. It kind of makes her more observant. She seems like she's very thoughtful, but also kind of introverted, but without being like antisocial. She jokes with her friends, but it's like she doesn't need that crazy life. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
so she doesn't need to be out there doing all the naughty stuff like her friends is. She's okay with babysitting on Halloween instead of going to a party. Um, so like in the classroom scene early in the first movie, where she looks out the window, she's distracted, almost like she is daydreaming, and that gives the impression that she dares to dream about the future. They are living in this tiny city town where nothing really happens. But it feels like she has big dreams. Um, so so one of her traits is she noticed things before everybody else. She noticed when Myers come to Haddonfield, she noticed the car before anybody else. She sees him near the school. She feels like she is watched when they are walking home. The rest of Haddonfield moves through the day like half asleep. But the more Laurie notices, she gets more alert. She is sort of sensitive to things being off. Like they're not like they normally are. It's almost like she's reacting to a storm before she even can see the clouds. But that awareness she has kind of isolate her that day because nobody else, even her best friends, takes her serious. So when the night comes, she's not just fighting for survival, she's confronting the things she has sensed long before anyone believed her. It's like it has prepared her. The day has prepared her for the night. In the original Halloween, so the first one, she isn't targeted because of who she is. and she's not chosen because there is any connection between her and Michael. She just gets his attention um, because she's the one who notices him watching back. So for everybody else, he's just not there, except for Laurie. Then in Halloween 2, they introduce the sibling thing. Laurie learns that Michael is her brother, that she was adopted. So the evil that is chasing her is tied to her by blood. But knowing that doesn't really change anything about their dynamic in the movie and her being chased. So in Halloween 2, Laurie is sedated, injured, and barely conscious most of the movie. So we doesn't really get to know her any better because she's just lying there in the hospital bed. So the Halloween 2 continues straight after Halloween ended. So it's the same night.
Mm-hmm.
Have you watched both of them,
I
Dogbomb?
don't think I've seen Halloween 2, if I'm being honest.
Well, somebody is lucky, huh? So Laurie is hunted by someone who is supposed to be her brother, but who is too empty to understand what it means to be a brother. Like to meet, like what is family. So we don't really get to know Laurie deeply in those two movies. Not in the way we kind of like expect to know a character, especially when they are an iconic character as Laurie has become. We don't know what she's dreaming about. We don't know what she's scared about. And we don't really know her family, like her adopted family, besides that her new father is a realtor and asks her to leave the key. Like, we don't know how her childhood were, or it's kind of fascinating how little we know about her. um, so in the first film, we watch her on her feet, protecting the children. She adapts, she hides, she fights, she survives. By the time we reach Halloween 2, her character becomes more like a symbol of a survivor because she spent so much time being wounded and again sedated, drifting in and out of conscience as Michael stalks the hospital halls. When she gets out of bed, when she feels that he's there, we see her in pain, we see her fear, and we see how she just keeps moving on. But again, we don't really know her.
Mm.
But we know that she refused to surrender. She keeps fighting. In the first movie, she protects the children before she protects herself. She keeps fighting after she's injured in the hospital. And even though she have experienced so much terror throughout the night or evening, she doesn't let herself get paralyzed by it. She just keeps going on. So Laurie feels real in the way people feel during crisis. And that is why it makes sense that she's not delivering like a monologue about her past while she's running down the hallway. She just survived moment to moment. And that is how we know her. So we don't know the exact second Laurie entered the fog for Dead by Daylight. There is no shot of her being taken. Laurie is someone whose life became defined by surviving the evil. And what we know so far is that the entity collects people like that. It doesn't just want victims, it wants stories that never stop hurting. And Laurie's story with Michael Myers is one of the most hurtful stories in horror so far. So that is what I have about Laurie.
Excellent. And you've watched 3 of the Halloween films now.
Combined, yes. I have watched Halloween 1, Halloween 2, an hour of Halloween 8/20, which is 20 years later.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't watch the last half hour because that is not the Laurie version we have in the game.
Mm.
That is older Laurie. And then, like, there is different storylines in Halloween.
There is, yeah.
So Halloween 20 years later, I started watching. Michael is still her brother. Then there's one movie after that where he's also her brother. Then, a few years ago, there was 3 new Halloween movies, also with the same actress.
Mm-hmm.
But Michael is no longer her brother. In the 20 years later movie, she has a son. In the 3 new movies, she has a daughter.
Mm-hmm.
But it's she's called Jamie Lee Curtis, right?
Yeah, Jamie Lee Curtis.
She's Laurie in all of them. And I kind of like that they have, like, it's like a tree folding
Yeah.
out with different stories, and she's just there to deliver.
Yeah, there is also a Laurie who exists in the 2007 remake of the movie, which is that was a
Yeah,
Rob Zombie movie, and it's very different again.
but Halloween 3, 4, 5, 6 has nothing to do with Laurie as far as I could figure out.
Well,
So
I believe she is. Spoiler alert, by the way, if you still haven't watched Halloween: The Return, I believe she is confirmed dead in that one, which is the 3rd film. I believe.
is that no, that is the 3rd one of the new
That's the
ones, right?
4. Sorry, the 4. Halloween 4. The old Halloween 4.
Okay,
She's
because
confirmed
everywhere
dead.
I read, it said drop 3, 4, 5, 6, go 20 years later, or go to the 3 new movies where she's not family. So where it goes from Halloween to 3 new movies, or it goes Halloween, Halloween 2, 20 years later, and the other movie. I
Oh,
also one of them has Tyra Banks in it. Like, what the fuck?
I think the big takeaway here is watch what you want.
I want to watch all of them now. And they're all so bad. I love it. Or maybe it's just because it's winter and it's snowing outside and I'm watching them in the morning with my coffee. And I don't have any, like, Halloween is not a thing for me. We don't have Halloween. I'm not grown up with Halloween's night. So maybe that's why it's not so scary for me as it's supposed to be. Mid-snowstorm in February. I don't know. They're cute.
It is classic slasher. It sort of defined a bit of a genre, so yeah.
Like the 90s vibes of the 20 years later movie. Love it. I'm so into the 90s vibes. Oh, and then side note, what the fuck is up with that mask? Halloween 1, good mask. Halloween 2, somebody fucked up about the mask. It's so wrong. I don't know how to describe it. Then 20 years later, we're getting back to the original, but it's a bit off. And then luckily in the 3 new ones, where I only have watched like an hour of the first one, they have just made it look old. And I read that it had been lying in a box under a bed from like at some producer's home. And she was a smoker, so it had like crusty yellow to it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I have a lot of opinions about that mask.
You're obsessed. You're obsessed now, and I love it. I love it.
Try to get Halloween movies in Denmark in February. That's not easy.
Speaking of obsessions, should we talk about Laurie's perks? Laurie Strode is built around one core idea, and that is fighting back when it matters most. Her perks mostly revolve around the obsession mechanic and punishes killers who overcommit. She is about clutch moments. Laurie thrives when the killer thinks they've secured the down, and then suddenly they haven't. She is resilience under pressure. And it's interesting because Halloween introduced the obsession mechanic to Dead by Daylight. It's such a core part of Dead by Daylight as we currently know it. But Halloween brought along the obsession mechanic. And when it first was introduced, there wasn't an obsession in every single game. Only if somebody had a perk which related to obsession, either the killer brought an obsession perk or a survivor brought an obsession perk, would there be an obsession. And only the killer and the obsession would know who that obsession was. It wasn't information for everybody to know. So that was introduced in October 2016. 2 years on, almost 2 years later, a year and a half later, a patch came, and then obsession was no longer hidden from all of the other survivors. But it took 5 whole years for every single game to have obsession in. So until that point, the games just didn't have obsessions in if they didn't have obsession perks in. So 4th of May 2021, all games now have obsessions. Perk number 1. And same as last week, as these characters are now out of the game, they're unable to buy, all of these perks have become generalized perks. I will give Laurie's first perk name, the name that I know it as, and then I'll also give you the new name. So the first perk in alphabetical order from Laurie's point of view is Decisive Strike, which is now called Will to Live. After you've been unhooked, you have Decisive Strike for 60 seconds, a whole minute. And if you are grabbed or picked up by the killer in that time, you are given a skill check. If you succeed the skill check, you will stab the killer and escape from their grasp. It stuns the killer for a few seconds, 4 seconds. And something that I didn't realize is it causes you to become the obsession. So if you weren't the obsession before, you now become the obsession, which I actually didn't realize that. It doesn't activate once the executor powered. And once you've used it once, it's disabled for the rest of the trial. So it's a one-use thing. And if you fail your skill check, it cannot be used again. If you get the skill check and stab them in the neck, you still can't use it again. If you do any action after being unhooked, any conspicuous action, which is repairing a gen, blessing a totem, etc., it will deactivate the perk for you. So you cannot do that skill check. It also increases your chance of becoming the obsession by 100%. It is super strong for anti-tunneling. A lot of players will push into it quite heavily. Um, if you've ever played as killer, you can kind of tell when somebody's running because they will kind of run back at you after they've been unhooked and stick around for a whole minute and then run away as soon as that minute runs out. But yeah, it still can be quite powerful. It can stop tunneling. It gives you a whole extra minute of chase, and yeah, if a killer does become a little obsessed with one player or tries to tunnel out, it can be quite helpful in that case. I believe you've had this in Chaos Shuffle. I seem to remember you actually got off a killer's shoulder once with this.
Yes, I did, and I was so confused to what the fuck was going on
Mm-hmm.
because I got a skill check, and I got the skill check, and I didn't know why because I've never
Mm,
used this perk, and
yeah.
boom, I was off. And
Have you ran it since?
no.
It's so fun.
It just feels like a waste of a perk, kind of, because it's one use only.
Mm, when it works, though, it's so satisfying to be able to fight back against a killer. There's not many perks that allow you to do that.
Who doesn't
Uh,
want to do a little stabby stabby?
exactly. It's so direct as well. So, yeah, that's the first perk. Her second perk is Object of Obsession, which is now called Bound by Obsession. Whenever the killer reads your aura, you get to see their aura. So, like for like. It also increases your action speeds for cleansing, healing, and repairing by 6%. And if you are the current obsession, it triggers every 30 seconds automatically. You will get to see the killer's aura, and they will get to see your aura for 3 seconds. It also increases your chance of becoming the obsession. Um, this is huge. For anyone who's confident to take chases, this can be massive. It does mean that the killer's going to get to see you a lot. They are going to see your aura. Maybe they don't even realize why they're seeing your aura, unless they're kind of clued in and knowing what's going on. And yeah, you get to see their aura as long as they are seeing your aura. It means that if you're blocking their aura in any way, you don't get to see their aura. Um, it means that if you've affected their vision, that's going to affect yours. So if they are blinded and things like that, it will still light up, and you will still get the effect of the healing and repairing and things. And it can be extended. It can be extended by the killer using lethal pursuer to get a longer aura reading, or the survivor using Eyes of Belmont to get a longer vision. But they do not stack together. It's a massive, massive information perk. There was a recent meta with this, which was Weave Attunement was being run a lot, which allowed killers to see auras of survivors around items. And it meant that survivor running this perk could see the killer at all times around shack and things like that. When it was first introduced, it was quite controversial, especially when played with Swifts, because it would allow one player to just constantly, almost constantly, call out where the killer is. and keep relaying it to their team. And it still is. It still is incredibly, incredibly powerful if you have one player running it who's quite confident, or who can stay out the way very well, and just keep giving information as to where the killer is. Um, it's high risk because they get to see your as well, but massive, massive reward in a coordinated team. And Laurie's final perk is Soul Survivor, which is now called Down to the Last. This perk has had a lot of names, which we'll talk about in a moment. Every time a survivor other than yourself is killed or sacrificed, you get 1 token, up to a maximum of 3 tokens, 1 token for every dead friend. And you get a stackable radius of 24 meters per token around you, which adds up to 72 meters. And in that 72-meter radius, you are immune to the killer's aura reading abilities. When you are the last, very, very last survivor standing, you repair at 75% faster, and your gate and hatch opening is 50% faster. It also increases your chance to become the obsession by 100%. This obviously doesn't work particularly well with objective obsession. Or I guess it does, actually. I guess it does, because you can know where they are as long as they're outside of that big old radius that you've created. When this was first introduced, this was a general perk for anyone that didn't have it. So any platform that didn't have the Halloween chapter, these were introduced as general perks, and it had a different icon, and the icon had the Soul Survivor icon has Laurie on it. The Down to the Last icon doesn't have Laurie's head on it. Since it's now been removed from the game, that icon has come back, and anyone who doesn't have the Halloween chapter gets the generic icon. So that icon existed before and after Halloween chapter. The perk was originally named Last Survivor. When they did the Halloween chapter spotlight, that's what they called it, Last Survivor. And the original name for the unlicensed perk was Desperate Focus. It is now called Down to the Last or Soul Survivor. Lots of names, lots of names. It's very, very good. If you are playing a escape streak, I see a lot of streamers running this if they're doing escape streaks, because if they are the only player, they're not swiffing. It gives you late game stealth. It allows you to open hatches much quicker. It allows you to open doors much quicker if you're on your own. And it encourages you to stay alive until the end. It protects from any killer builds that have big aura reading. Yeah, a very, very strong, very, very strong solo player perk. Although it's a little bit anti-teamwork, shall we say. It's very much focusing on yourself. If you want to do some builds around Laurie's perks, maybe you want to go anti-tunnel with some decisive strike. Maybe pair that with off the record and focus on survival pressure and extending those chases. Add in a sprint burst maybe and windows. Or perhaps you want to go for pure information, objective obsession, kindred, and do some map awareness and coordinated call-outs with your pals. Or if you want to purely go for that last survivor energy, Soul Survivor pairs super well with something like Wake Up, which lets you open gates much quicker as well. And everyone's favorite Bill perk, Left Behind, which allows you to see where those hatches are. Take a key in, kind of guarantee yourself a hatch victory at the end of the game, if you so wish, and if you want to play into just yourself. Laurie is moderately beginner friendly. Decisive Strike requires a little bit of timing awareness. I think the skill check can throw people off because it's very different to a generator skill check. But yeah, it can be quite specialized playing these Laurie perks as well. Objective Obsession is quite specialized. As I say, you need to be quite confident to be able to take some heat from the killer, as they're going to know where you are. And but it does lend itself to a lot of kind of anti-tunnel builds, if that's what you're going for. Laurie's power level fluctuates based on different balances and different killers. If you've got a big aura reading killer, the power level is very different to a non-aura reading killer. She introduced some incredibly influential things to the game. Obsessions being the main thing. Decisive Strike was quite influential in the game when it came. It made the game a lot more reactive and changed the aggression levels of the game. And yeah, rewards patience, composure, and timing. Do you have any history with Laurie perks or Laurie themselves, Ellen?
No, I don't. I think I barely have played Laurie.
Yeah.
I do have her, and of course, I did get extra outfits for her before
Mhm.
they left the
Did you?
game.
Oh, I didn't. I'm kind of regretting that I didn't actually with
But I
Laurie.
got this cardigan look,
The wolf in
um,
sheep's clothing look. That's what it's called, the
is
cardigan.
it?
Yeah, wolf. It's what she wears in the second half of the first movie, I think.
I actually don't know. I
Mm.
didn't look at her outfit, but I got that. Just, I like to
Mhm.
have the full collection.
Mhm.
But yeah, but I have not played her or used her perks without, like, except for in the Chaos Shuffle games where I
Mm.
were not aware.
Yeah, they are interesting. I would say try all of them. Maybe not. If you're going for Adept, obviously you need to run them all together. But I think try them individually if you are going to try them. Decisive Strike, particularly, can really flip a match on its head if you do it at the right time. Objective Obsession, which is where you see the killer's aura for most of the game, can be quite scary against some killers. It's worth giving it a go though, because yeah, it does make you more confident in chases if you're getting chased all the time in a game. And Soul Survivor is huge. If you're playing alone, if you're not playing with pals, and you just want to kind of guarantee that end game, um, it's huge. Take a key in and yeah, and basically it's a win. It's a win condition, and it's a winning perk if you can get it to pull off. If you don't die early doors.
I do.
Every week, we like to recommend a creator in the Dead by Daylight space. And this week is no different, and we are recommending that everyone go and check out Carneth TV. Carneth TV on Twitch, who is someone that Lemon and I bumped into, I believe, on a game. And we went and checked out their stream, and they were just the sweetest person.
I think he was playing killer, and we just had so much fun that game.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
afterwards, we found out that he was the most cutest human being.
Yeah, they are a gay man from the UK, currently living in Berlin. And yeah.
And he's trying to become a full-time streamer because he was made redundant from his job.
Yeah.
And he is a DVD creator.
Yeah. So yeah, definitely go and check him out. A little bit under the radar, I think, is Karna TV compared to some of the people we've recommended, but
Mm,
should definitely be on everyone's radar if they like chill, uh, kind, sweet individuals and chill, kind, sweet streams.
exactly.
As always, we will post the link in the show notes for you to go and check out Karneth TV. Who have we got coming up next week, Lemon?
So next week, we are going to open the chapter of Flesh and Mud. So we will be talking about the hag.
Eh,
Yeah? What does that mean?
the hag's so slimy.
Slimy? Oh,
Slimy.
really? I always saw her like a bit dry. There's no slime on the hag.
We'll talk about the hag's sliminess next week.
She is dry as bone.
As a quick reminder, we also have a website, beyondcampfire.com, which has links to all major podcast platforms, how to find us, where to follow us, and all that jazz. And we had some big news today. Is that right, Lemon?
Yes, and I'm very excited about it.
Tell me about
Because
it.
today we hit 500 listens on our
Ooh,
podcast.
party popper sound insert here. Party popper
Pew, pew,
sound.
pew.
Pew, pew, pew.
It's amazing. So thank you to everybody who has listened to us.
Yeah,
And
thank you.
I have talked Dogbomb into that when we reach 1,000, so we're already halfway, but
Mhm.
1,000, we will do a giveaway. So when we reach 1,000, we will tell more about how we are going to do it. But please keep listening. And if you have a friend or a community where they might like us, please share. Share. And we love your comments.
Do you have any questions for our listeners this week?
How many of the Halloween movies have you watched?
Oh, interesting question. How many of the Halloween movies have you watched? My question is for the listeners this week is what are your thoughts on skill checks? Do you think skill checks are boring in the game? If you do you think there's a better way that Dead by Daylight could do that whole repair thing? Do you like the thing that they do with Skull Merchant when you have to do a little mini game? Do you think the skill checks should be changed a little bit more, like when you're playing against Doctor? What are your thoughts on skill checks in the game? Love them or hate them? And while people are mulling over the skill checks in their mind, remember, play safe out there and don't get hooked.